It's payday for former President Donald Trump. His social media startup, Trump Media and Technology Group Corporation, received a commitment of $1 billion from a, quote, unidentified diverse group of investors. Trump said in a statement the $1 billion sends an important message to big tech that censorship and political discrimination must end. America is ready for Truth Social, a platform that will not discriminate on the basis of political ideology. As our balance sheet expands, TMTG will be in a stronger position to fight back against the tyranny of big tech, unquote. So Kim, we're expected to see this new social media platform early-ish next year, right?
Yeah, I think they were saying February was kind of the target date, so we'll see how that goes. I think, if I remember correctly, it might be January, but yeah, sometime early next year. Truth Social.
What's your expectation for this? Because one of the joys, for conservatives of Twitter is the opportunity to own the libs and to watch the libs, having meltdowns about whatever they've posted. And so if the libs aren't there to be owned, are they going to just get bored with themselves? Well,
do you think the libs will move? Do you think they're going to move to truth? If the conservatives are over there and kind of saying crazy conservative stuff, then the liberals will want to go over there to see what crazy stuff they're saying.
Maybe. They never quite went to Parler. I joined Parler just to see what was going on there. And actually, it was fascinating because my first day on there, I saw there was a Republican senator saying something 180 degrees opposite on Parler than what he was saying publicly about election fraud. I was like, wow, this is wild. This is happening in public, but he doesn't think anybody in the media will see it because it's happening over on Parler.
Was he for like against election fraud? Like what was the difference?
Yeah, on Parler he was like questioning the election, the integrity of the election, and on Twitter he's like, guys, it was a clean election. Like we need to move on.
Yeah, but that makes sense, right? Because anybody who talked about the election at all, I mean, I saw this happen on YouTube with anybody who even had the conversation, their channels were deplatformed or demonetized. They weren't allowed to even discuss it. So I think in public, a lot of people felt like, I can't even discuss it. I just have to go with the line. And the line is nothing to see here, nothing happened. And then they go to a different space and they say, actually, I kind of think this, and then the truth kind of comes out, which is maybe why it's called Truth Social. The truth will come out. What do you really think?
Right, except this wasn't a poster. This was a United States senator.
Right, of course, yeah. But still, I mean, it's good to know what he was thinking publicly.
It is.
And also it kind of goes to show, and sort of the whole point of this platform is that social media has that much power. Big tech has that much power that they can control the narrative of a senator. Is that who you said it was? An actual...
Yeah, I got to look up who it was. I don't want to say who I think it was without knowing for 100% certain, but
a member of Congress, and that's insane. I mean, for big tech to have that level of control, that they can actually cause a sitting member of the Senate or House to actually change what they think. That's such a huge aspect of the problem.
Here's what's different, though, is you're assuming that what he said on Parler is what he really thinks. And from other reporting and books that have since been published, he actually did not believe that the election was stolen. Like he was in the camp that Trump was wrong about this and that the election was clean. So he was pandering over on Parler.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be the issue with both, right? Both this Truth Social and other big tech.
I just looked it up. This was the person I thought it was. It was Mike Lee.
So
on Parler, he said, if Democrats are so confident that nothing bad happened in the 2020 presidential election and that anything that might have gone wrong could not have affected the outcome of the election, why should they fear the challenges brought by the Trump administration? So he's not saying this is a very clever Mike Lee move. He's not saying that there was election fraud. What he's saying is that maybe there was, and it should be looked into. And why are Democrats so afraid to look into it? We now know from reporting by Bob Woodward that Mike Lee, had been lobbied very heavily by Trump's lawyers and had been shown all of the evidence that Trump's lawyers could muster to prove to him that there was fraud. And he had the most creative expressive ways to share his disdain with the evidence that they had found. He just, he's Mormon, and so as you know, he's not going to drop F-bombs, but he was very clear that he thought it was completely outrageous and bogus, this evidence that they were trying to put forward. So we know that now for a fact, thanks to the Woodward book. But there he is on Parler, sowing doubt about it. Not
well, and I guess
quite
that's going to be
sullying himself, but yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's going to be the question with these different social media platforms coming out. With Truth Social, will people pander? And do they pander on Twitter? Are they, is everybody just kind of pandering depending on where they're putting statements out there? And I guess we're going to kind of see this, but, this big infusion of cash that Truth Social is getting, or actually I think it's not just Truth Social, but Trump has got an entire, it's really interesting actually what he's going to build out. It's not just this kind of Twitter, answer to Twitter, but it's an answer to Amazon Cloud. It's an answer to YouTube. It's an answer to, they're kind of going multi-pronged on the entire how to combat big tech, which I think is really, they're even actually anticipating creating a payment system to sort of combat PayPal and the censorship that's been going on even in the payment services. So that's really, really interesting. But so there clearly is an appetite for this. People are very interested in this. We'll see how it divides the conversation. And if it is just, okay, you're on your side and they're on their side, and then maybe once in a while you tip your toe into each other's side to see what you're each saying, and then gotta go back to the clicks.
Right, and take each other out of context and then circulate it back on the other side to
screenshots and be like, look at what they said over here. Without looking at. Yeah, right.
Can't wait for that. just what we need.
Well, we'll see. Yes, it'll be right after Christmas for you, so Merry Christmas. Nice present.
Indeed. Well, we'll have to leave it there. We'll have more Rising right after this.